Hello and welcome to episode 24 of Aico TV. I'm Holly Moore.
And I'm Lizzie Williams, and today we're filming on Christmas Jumper Day, and it's lovely to see all the colleagues supporting this amazing cause. We also have a big birthday this week. Holly is turning 30.
Oh, no. But yeah, let's brush past that. Episode 24 of Aico TV. It's the last one of the year. Thank you everyone for tuning in to all of the previous episodes. But let's see what's coming up.
So first up on today's episode, we have our Regional Specification Manager, Karl Traynor, who is joined by Thermatic Homes.
Next, we'll take a look at our most recent Aico in the Community Challenge in support of the Movement Centre.
And for our final segment of the year, we will take another look at the live events we have recently attended.
And we'll finish the episode with our FAQ, how to house code battery products.
So first up, we've got our Regional Specification Manager, Karl Traynor, who is joined by Karl Wallace, Managing Director at Thermatic Homes Limited. Thermatic Homes was initially established in 2014, and they are committed to creating a sustainable and smarter future in housing.
Hello, my name's Karl Traynor. I'm the Regional Specification Manager for Aico for the North West, and I'm here today with
Karl Wallace. I'm the Managing Director for Thermatic Homes.
So, we're just going to have a chat, aren't we?
we are, as we have many times.
I know. So, obviously going back, for those who may not know, we've known each other 30 years this year, is it?
Yeah, it must have been
91 we started
91,
college.
yeah,
So
91.
we started college, obviously, St Helens in 91.
We did, yeah.
Through to 94.
Some time ago now, mate, some time.
Yeah, I know, tell me about it. Obviously after college, back then in the 90s, there was no mobile phones, there was no social media, not so you lose touch with people.
Yeah,
and then
they're gone forever, almost.
Yeah, and then I think one of the things, obviously with the electrical industry at least, you always end up bumping back in. Yeah. So I think we got back in touch about 8 years ago, something like that, wasn't it?
We did,
something
we did.
Then.
Yeah, it was, it must have been about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah. And obviously the first thing we did when we met up was you said you were the MD for Thermatic. I was the electrical manager at Knowsley Housing at the time, and we both said, how on earth did you end up in that position? Because the last time I seen you, we were trying to steal a monkey from the safari park. So that's,
it's a long story.
The infamous monkey story. Yeah. So it was in our defence though. That, from what I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, the afternoon lessons we used to have, the lecturer didn't like Scousers, did he? So that's why we used to bunk off. I'm not alone in thinking that.
Yeah, but that doesn't normally go straight to stealing a monkey from the safari park.
No, but there's only so much time you can spend in the local pub before it then turns into, shall we go to safari park with a supply of crisps and try and steal a monkey and get it in the car and take it back to the college, which obviously is the infamous monkey story, which has followed us around for many, many years now.
As I've got older and more professional, I like to use the phrase, we liberated him because he was unhappy with his conditions.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think so. We look at it that way.
The biting and the scratching would point to the fact he was quite unhappy. Should point out, obviously, to anyone watching, we didn't manage to get the monkey in the car, by the way, but they're the stupid things you do when you're younger.
Exactly.
But
I do think we kicked someone out in the lines enclosure, though, didn't we, for a couple of minutes, just so we seen the whites of his eyes and we let him back in again.
Yeah. Turn the child locks off. But it is crazy to think, obviously, back then when we were younger and a bit stupid, well, we're a bit more stupid now, but that's the career you go on. I mean, I don't think any of us really saw where we'd end up or even thought about where we'd end up.
I think my sole ambition was to get out my time to
to
qualify at the time.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I remember when me and Steve Doyle, if you remember, we both started there because you'd already been at St Helens for a while, hadn't you? Yeah. You'd done your apprenticeship there, and I think me and Steve just come for the design element of it. So I think we both gravitated towards you and Joey and basically because you were the only other Scousers in the room. So
yeah. John and Michelle wasn't
Michelle as well.
Yeah, she ended up as a teacher at St Helens College.
Did she?
Yeah, she lives in France now.
Yeah.
Runs like a guest house in France.
Oh, right.
Now, and again, I suppose you never would have thought that years ago, you know.
No, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, back in those days, like you say, it was a case of finish your C certificate, get through your AM2, and then get out working in the real world. Yeah. And I mean, that's what I certainly did. Worked for council, carried on working for the council for a couple of years, and then eventually left in 1998, I think I left, and went working in the private sector, and that was like having a nosebleed straight away. That was a big difference, big difference. And then obviously there's no defined path, or I certainly didn't think there was. I just went on my way, ended up working outside the city for quite a few years, and again that was a bit odd, being the only Scouser working in Stockport for 6 years. Learned very quickly you're going to be the butt of all the jokes unless you make them. So and I've carried that on even now, really, to be honest. If I see an opportunity to make a Scouts joke, I will. I'll just get it in first, and then that's it, then it's sorted.
Exactly.
So I never thought to do that, and then came off the tools, and that wasn't my plan either. It was just circumstance. And like you say, things happen, you meet people and opportunities come up, and now I've been at Aico 2.5 years, and again, never thought in a million years I'd be doing something like this. Certainly, working for Aico for a manufacturer, but also sitting on a camera interviewing you,
exactly.
Just chatting, But I mean, how did you end up at Thermatic?
Well, it's a long story. I mean, last time when I first seen you, we were doing the RC, weren't we, in St Helens? Completed that, and I was working for a company. I'd done my apprenticeship with Lawn Stewart. So Lawn Stewart were formerly Campbell and Isherwood, so it was a big commercial company. It was prisons, hospitals, schools. So I was a commercial spark. Then went self-employed when I come out of my time, and ended up, as most self-employed do, doing a huge amount of domestic works. And that was alien to me at the time, because all I'd ever done is commercial. So I'd done that probably for about 10, 12 years, and then I went to work for some of the larger construction companies. I worked for Bramwell Construction, that were part of Keepmoat, and that's the first time I come off the tools. So I ended up being I started off as a trade supervisor, and then I went through site supervisor, site manager, and then I ended up running their M&E department. They started an in-house M&E department to service a number of large contracts. Moved from Bramwell's and through to Rock, and then from Rock to Thermatic. So, it's an odd journey, to be honest. But Thermatic, when I first started, didn't do any domestic works at all. So I started again looking at the commercial aspect of things, and then we had a conversation with the then MD at the time, and he realised that I had a fair amount of domestic experience through the likes of Bramwell's and Rock, and then we started then, I think 2014, one contract for Mears. And then sort of added to it along the way. You move on. I mean, see, I was the other way around, really, so saving me time with the council. The first 2 years, to be fair, I never set foot in a house. It was all conduit jobs and tray work and everything, rewiring schools. The swimming baths at Broadway, I remember doing that, pyros, all that. And then the last 2 years of my time was on house bashing. And then I kind of stuck to that. So it was only occasionally I dropped out. I worked for a little while doing refurbs and quick saves in Summerfields, and that was interesting. Seeing what was up above the ceilings in those places, the amount of times they've been refurbed and stuff. But I always ended up coming back into the domestic side of it, and obviously that's how then we ended up getting back in touch. And while I was at Knowsley, you ended up obviously working as one of my subcontractors there, doing some rewires and picking up testing and stuff for us. But like I say, there's never really a plan, it's just circumstance, I suppose. It is, exactly. And I think I took a similar route to yourself in terms of the NIC side of things. So I'd went the principal duty holder and qualified supervisor roles over the years, which you've done very well at Knowsley as well. But that's I think really that sort of pushed me more, the NIC side, because I think it's just a wonderful opportunity when you start doing those type of qualified supervisor roles, and you're working with your sparks day in, day out, and you're sort of problem solving and what have you. And I think that sort of first removed me from the tools, side of things. First time I did it, I was still working a bit on the tools when I first got registered. But I was kind of looking at the guy at the time who was the area engineer for Liverpool, was John Gibbons. Gibbo. Gibbo. I don't think there's a spark on Merseyside who didn't know Gibbo or knew of him, and I always say I would not be where I am today without that man. And it's an absolute shame that he died quite young. I remember going to the funeral,
and you couldn't even get in the church.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a single electrical job got done on Merseyside that day, because
No.
every spark in the area
Exactly.
was stood in that courtyard outside the church there.
Everyone knew.
Great man. But he taught me Hugh Bird, did me 2391 testing and then the 2400 design.
Yeah.
And then at the same time came out and was assessing me. And I always remember the first assessment on site. He asked me a question, I can't remember exactly what it was now, and I had to just think for a moment. And then I gave him the answer, and he went, I was worried then you wouldn't know that, lad. I went, well, let's face it, John, if I don't know, it's your fault, because you didn't teach me. And he was like, I can't really get away with this one. And I went, no, John, you can't, mate, no, you can't. But I've obviously dealt with different NIC inspectors then over the years, working at Wigan, working at Stockport, and they're great people, and you always get a slightly different take off each of them, and I always used to love that and just see what they had to say and discuss things. And like you said, I do think you're right, it pushes you on a little bit. It pushes you to know more and problem solve and try and help out. I think one of the big things, and what I always said to the Sparks on my team, and what I still say to anybody now, even when I train a lot of people now on the fire detection and the CO and what have you, is never be afraid to ask, because nobody knows everything. And unfortunately, sometimes you feel awkward asking a question. There's no stupid questions. No. Always just ask. Quite a few times, I'd say, do you know what, I'm not sure on that one. I'll get in touch on your phone, a helpline, or there's 6 people in my phone who'll always ring up, you being one of them, going, what do you think about this, or have you ever come across that? And I suppose a lot of people are like that, really.
Yeah, exactly. I've called you many a times as well, I think, in the past, haven't I?
Just don't ask me anything about smoke alarms, because I wing it every single day, to be honest with you. I don't even know what they are. I just point at things on the ceiling. Oh yeah, it'll be that over there, it's a spotlight. I mean, no, that's a smoke alarm. Well, No,
I've called you. And I think a lot of the NIC assessors as well still on my phone, so you can give those guys a call, and they're more than happy to take the call.
I still talk to the guy in the Pearl Gordon Banks quite regularly, and obviously I've not been doing that role for 2.5 years now, and probably once a month I'll speak to Gordon. Either he'll ring me about something or I'll ring him, and that's a beauty. I mean, going back to Gibbo, he was quite famous for, if you knocked on his door of an evening, he'd get his missus to make a brew, and he'd get the eggs out on his table. And he'd sit at his dining room table with the eggs out.
He loved it, didn't he?
He was great bloke.
Well, he was our lecturer when I was in Hugh Bird for the evening class, so 7 o'clock till whatever time it was, and he used to finish his day at work, and this is before he was with the NICIC, so he had his own business. Then he'd come and he'd do the lecture of an evening, and then after college, then he'd be sat down with the lads who had lost employment, unfortunately, doing the apprenticeship, trying to find companies for him to work with. So he was a rarity, John. He was a real good guy. He was great bloke. But and obviously now we found ourselves here today. Exactly. Moving on. So 30 years later, a lot more professional than we used to be.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm wearing a tie today, which is unusual. But it's. It is mad, and obviously you still see people, you still talk about people. Like I say, this industry, you bump into people all the time. I find particularly, I haven't spent most of my time in social housing. I've worked for probably over time at least a dozen different landlords in one way or another. I now deal with 38, I think, on my patch. And you bump into the same people who used to work there. You know, you move around an awful lot. So obviously now you're over Manchester way, which technically isn't my patch, but we do cross paths an awful lot. And obviously we're still working together in a way, doing specifications and whatnot. And the big thing now, obviously we were just chatting before, is obviously the environmental sensors, which you're sort of looking at and trying to push.
Huge amount of interest out there at the moment for that, we're finding. Huge. I mean, we're doing quite a lot of upgrades at the moment in terms of the fire detection from LD3 to LD2. Which is going really well, and I think in relation to the changes in legislation in Scotland, it looks as if it's going to be flowing through in the rest of the UK. We've got a lot of the housing associations we're finding are being really proactive at the minute, so we're really busy getting the guys out there and installing additional sensors where they've never had them before in the likes of the kitchens and the living rooms, and also replacing the halls and landings. So we're finding, as we're talking to the house associations at the moment, and with them being aware of the environmental sensors now and the impact that they can have, it was really good conversations we're having. This can all be wrapped up together. You know, we can go in.
Do it all in one go.
Exactly, and along with the EICR often as well while we're in the property. So it fits into it's a perfect bundle for a housing association, I think, to get in there, carry out the EICR, rectify the Code 1, Code 2s, upgrade the fire detection system, and why not put the environmentals and gateway in while they're there?
That's it. I think it's seeing that benefit. I mean, I think most people who know me, or once they get to know me, know I'm clearly not from that sales background, so it's not like sales pitch type of thing. I've worked in compliance for years, so I've dealt with the likes of Section 11s.
Yeah.
I used to know, as soon as a Section 11 landed on my desk, it's already cost us a couple of grand straight away. It's legal fees, and never mind the manpower that goes into obviously dealing with that, with the legal side of it. You need an entire team behind it, and that's before you even go out and try and rectify the issue, which, you know, will be the damp, the mould, hack and plaster off, making good, fitting fans, whatever it is you need to do. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I think back to summer 2012, it was when the Olympics were on, working over at Wigan. We'd routinely get maybe 3 fan jobs a month, maybe. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it started going to 3 a week, and the next thing it was 3 a day, and we just couldn't cope with it. We had to get subbies in to give us a hand, and then they were struggling to cope. They were getting somebody in to bore the holes out beforehand, and it all came down to one claim. One claim had been successful, and then that just spread like wildfire then right across the estate. I saw it not long ago where, again, similar thing, you've got the solicitors now going round, literally door knocking. Yeah. You know, that's happening an awful lot. So you've lost PPI, so they're looking for something else to generate business. Yeah. And it's an easy one to target. Yeah. So for me, I can see massive benefits in putting them in. Personally, for air quality, you know, obviously, as I told you, I was diagnosed with COPD 2 years ago. I've never smoked a cigarette in my entire life, but I've done an awful lot of rewires, unfortunately. I've been in an awful lot of lofts. Yeah. So air quality is something that I monitor. I've got an air purifier now, and never thought too much about it until we started noticing patterns, and you don't realise what you're breathing in. Yeah. So, you know, it's got a counter on it. It goes from 1, which is perfect, it's fine, up to 12, which is it's ramped up, and it's really trying to clear the air. It'll be on 1 or 2. I'll spray some fly spray in a hall, and within 30 seconds, that thing goes absolutely mental. And I never would have thought in a million years. No, well, the dog shakes its blanket, just messing, and that'll go up to about 5 or 6 for a couple of minutes, and then drop back down again. Yeah. So, you know, you then got all the mould issue. I mean, thankfully, I haven't got mould in my house, but a lot of people have. So you're not only breathing in allergens, you're breathing in spores and all kinds of things. And that's where these things can help, obviously. Exactly, definitely. And I think, you know, as I know you're having similar conversations with the housing associations at the moment. As a manufacturer, we are as an installer as well. And that's really come. I think the penny has definitely dropped that, you know, it's a proactive way of reducing those claims. And they may not pay for themselves, but there's certainly a degree of offset, most definitely, in comparison to... Yeah, I would think so. I would look at it and go, well, how much did you pay out in those claims last year? And then just do a cost comparison against it. And that's the obvious way to go around it for me. But I think what we've noticed, obviously we've got the 2 different sensors. We assumed the one without the CO2 sensor in would be the one people will be more interested in. Yeah. And it's gone the other way around, but obviously that's because of COVID. Yeah. So we've been developing these for 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Obviously not knowing COVID was on the horizon, and now it's all about indoor air quality. So the CO2 one, and the one that measures that, is ramping up to basically show that you're clearing the air and what have you. Yeah. But the insights that we're getting back off them, like I say, it is astonishing to see. Yeah. Humidity levels, you think the room's absolutely fine, and it's not. And easy option, open a window. Yeah, exactly. Just open a window and you can solve that straight away. Yeah, so it is really interesting where all this IoT stuff's going, it's and good. Remote monitoring. Yeah, it's great. I mean, we look at it as well from an installation perspective. Is once these are fitted, the environmental sensors are fitted and they're externally monitored, if they do show anything up, then I'm looking forward to that second phase of things. Well, how do we rectify that? You know, because as a contractor, we fit PIV units, we fit, you know, negative ventilation, standard extract fans. We're involved in insulation measures, that sort of thing. So it's whereas at the moment we're starting to get the first grassroots of orders through for the environmental sensors and the gateways. I'm looking forward to where it moves to then, to see how sort of rectifiable these issues are, you know, through the measures we can install. I think when the gateway first come out, I mean, obviously I knew about it in my previous life as well. I wanted to trial them where I was working at the time, and then obviously ended up working for Aico. prior to the environmental sensors going online and connecting to it, one of the main ones for me was the head removal.
Yeah.
Because you know, for what you talk to any spark at all, the amount of times that you walk in a property and look up and go, well, that didn't jump off the ceiling by itself, did it? And the alarm's missing. And the fact that it actually does know the difference between heads removal and loss of mains power, because you can lose the mains. You've got battery backup, so everything's still going to work. It could have just tripped off. It could have run out of credit on the meter. It could just be a power cut. If it was the same property doing it all the time, then I'd be asking questions as to why that was. But head removal just should not happen at all. There is no reason for it at all, and it happens an awful lot. And like I say, you know, we know full well, we've seen it loads of times. So that was a massive one for me. But then just the general monitoring going on now anyway. Particularly about the carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide alerts, because it is, from some of the things that we've seen, we work with them all the time. If in your house a carbon monoxide alarm went off, you'd know instinctively that's what it is. Vents everywhere, turn the gas off, get outside the property. It's astonishing that some people just, and it's no disrespect, but they actually just don't know to react like that's just something beeping. So the fact that can be monitored remotely, within a minute you could have your call sensor or your contact sensor or whoever it is in the system, even if it's a private homeowner, someone who's disabled, a carer or a relative of that, immediately picking the phone up and going, there's an alarm going in your house, you're okay. It's huge. It's a huge benefit.
It's great. You think of that. You think of an elderly relative or
absolutely.
someone who's housebound, and to be able to monitor that externally yourself, you know, in a private market, it's wonderful. It is. It's great.
It's that peace of mind that goes with it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think as well, what we've seen, and I'm sure you've seen it, Karl, as well, is sometimes you get an electrician who'll go into a property and there's no permanent feed at a light fitting as well. So he'll wrongly come off the switch live, and that's, you're going to see the power drop in and out through the remote.
We have actually seen that, we have actually seen that a couple of times where it's been wired up the switch live, so it's just a constant on and off, on and off. We are looking at developing something to get around that issue. So maybe next year we'll be looking at something that's coming out. I don't want to say too much on that, or tempt fate on that. And he might have to edit that bit out actually, just in case. But no, we are. That is a huge issue. I've had it myself personally when I was on the tools. I know my team used to come across that an awful lot. I mean, I was taught to wire that way. I heard a lot of different reasons for why it was done, where they took the feeds down to the switches and just the switch live up to the light. I've heard that. I used to ask a lot, because obviously we'd then go to college and we'd be taught differently. We'd be taught, you know, twin and air, three plates system, drop down. So it was always a bit odd to me. I'd be doing one thing in college and a completely different thing on site when I was younger. It does cause issues, obviously huge issues. There's now a lot of other different ways of wiring. I'm currently renovating my mum's house to move into. I've dropped a 3-core down as a switch wire, so I've got a neutral at my switch for smart switches. Because a lot of smart switches want need a neutral. So if you use it, you use it. If it don't, it's fine, it's there. It's on a connector block tucked away in the back of the switch. At least I've got it there. So you start to see a lot of different ways and forward thinking along those lines, with all the IoT stuff coming in. You know, and this is just the, well, I wouldn't say the beginning of it, but you know, it just more and more and more is going to come out. But yeah, the switch live is a constant thorn in a lot of people's sides.
But at least, I mean, if there is something being developed, wonderful. But in the meantime, at least you can see that straight away.
Yeah,
you
can.
You know,
yeah,
if you've got whether it be a rogue installer or someone who isn't suitably trained, then you can spot that straight away and you can intervene and you can rectify it, which is great. But no, we're really excited, to be honest, in terms of what we're doing in terms of the Aico products at the moment, because it just seems to be really gathering momentum at the moment, really gathering traction. We're extremely busy on that side of the business. Yeah,
I think it's since the British standard changed in 2019. I mean, a lot of RSLs were fitting LD2 anyway. I mean, well, you know, I was, because obviously you used to work off my specs. But obviously that is then, when the British standard changed, a lot more then had to start following it. What you've got obviously in Scotland is the tolerable standard came in. That wasn't just for rented properties, that's for every property in Scotland. So that's been massive up there these last 2 years. There is talk of it coming in the rest of the country. That will obviously have to take time to be done. We've just had the white paper come out 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
Obviously carbon monoxide now.
Yeah.
We're getting loads of inquiries about carbon monoxide. So things are happening, and I'd always personally say, again, not sort of from a sales side of it, but try and get ahead of the curve. Personally, I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. Yeah. So if I can get that in my specs beforehand, that's what I was doing, and that's exactly what I did with obviously LD2, and I had the control switch in all my rewires from. That was what, 2015, was it? We started, you'd done the first few for me,
I think it was,
a couple of years back now. So yeah, I mean, I think that's where everybody's got to sort of look at, and at least look at what's available. Yeah. Look at the technology, look into how it can help you. Yeah. And then go from there. Yeah. And if obviously you are going to try and entice a monkey into your car, don't use prawn cocktail crisps, because that's not what worked last time. So clearly they don't like them.
He didn't like him, did he?
No,
he didn't like him.
I remember the purple packet. Yeah. So I think that wraps us up quite nicely there, doesn't it?
It does.
People have found that quite interesting, or maybe not. And we'll catch you again next time.
Thank you.
It was great to see the pair discuss their shared backgrounds and the future of our new HomeLINK Environmental Sensors. And speaking of our HomeLINK Environmental Sensors, here's the advert.
An exciting innovation in home life safety, our HomeLINK Environmental Sensors, the EI1020 and EI1025, have been designed to create better maintained, healthier and energy efficient homes, helping with the Homes Act compliance and achieving net zero in an efficient and data-driven way. Subtle, secure and easy to install, our environmental sensors are placed throughout the home, measuring temperature, humidity and carbon dioxide, providing actionable insights into conditions such as mold risk, heat loss, ventilation, excess cold and heat, as well as indoor air quality. Designed with social landlords, our environmental sensors connect to the EI1000G SmartLink gateway and extract data to our innovative portal, providing information landlords will value most to optimize investment, identify and tackle fuel poverty, enable preventative maintenance strategies, and deliver unrivaled service to residents to create healthier homes. To find out more about our environmental sensors, visit www.aico.co.uk/homelink.
So recently we hosted another challenge for our colleagues as part of our Aico in the Community initiative, this time raising funds for local charity, the Movement Centre. So this time we really put our colleagues to the test, and we arranged an Aico Abseil where not only our own colleagues but people from across Shropshire businesses came to Aico and abseiled down the side of our 60-foot building, all to raise money for the great work that the Movement Centre do. So we're going to take a quick look at the day, and we're going to hear from Johnny Wilkes, who's the CEO of the Movement Centre, and also our community liaison, Lily Ellis.
So we're at Aico today, and we are having an abseil for the Movement Centre. So staff have been coming off the roof all day in support of a local charity that supports children with movement disabilities.
So Movement Centre are a local charity. We are based at the back of the Orthopaedic Hospital. We're not part of the NHS, so we rent a building there, and we provided a course of therapy called Target Therapy, which is a course of physiotherapy treatment that assists children with movement difficulties. So the link with Aico was it was pretty well established when I'd arrived, which was about a year ago. We just about 2 weeks after I arrived with the organisation, we received a cheque for about £5,000 or £6,000. And I think that was something to do with a sponsorship scheme whereby the employees of Aico are actually given about £1,000 each to donate to local charity, which in itself is actually fantastic. So we received a sizable sum from Aico at that point. And during my tenure, that link has grown, and it's cemented, and we're actually kind of quite well known to each other.
And it's at Aico, it's part of our core values. So within our values, we have safer communities and looking after the community and that kind of thing. So, it's ingrained in every member of staff. So everybody gets on board. As you can see today, there are people coming off the roof which isn't normally what you do in a typical day. So all the colleagues love to get involved with this kind of stuff, and being able to organise something like this has just been absolutely phenomenal, and yeah, definitely something new.
Aico are very, very kind of proactive in the community. They've got a fantastic corporate social responsibility programme. They do give time off to their staff, and they do engage with a lot of charities in and around the local area. So that, it seems to me they're intent on putting something back into the community, and we are lucky enough that they've actually selected us, and we've developed that relationship since.
Without us, without Aico and all these amazing businesses helping them along, they might not be open, they might not be, helping these kids that need it so much. So it's been amazing to just know that we're part of the reason that, they're able to still do their amazing work.
Today's been absolutely fantastic. I think when you look at the individuals who've actually kind of volunteered to throw themselves off the side of a building, hats off to them, because for them as individuals that would have been a massive personal challenge. In some cases, probably the first time they've ever abseiled, so thank you for that. And from a monetary perspective, every penny's a prisoner for us. Whatever we get, we pass on to the parents. So for us, the efforts of today, we obviously won't know exactly how much's been raised today, but it will be significant, and we can't thank you enough.
So today has been really amazing, seeing kind of all of our colleagues do the abseil off the building in support of the movement centre, and it's just been a fantastic day, and we've raised so much money for such a good cause, and now it's just on to the next thing that we do.
So I hope you enjoyed seeing our colleagues abseil as much as we did. I didn't take part personally, but I did watch very nervously from the bottom, and they all did a fantastic job. So as part of our Aico in the Community initiative, we have done lots of festive activities in support of lots of local charities. Last weekend or so, we took part in the Oswestry Christmas Parade. We had a float. It was based on the Aico Express. So you'll have a little look at that now.
Next up, we'll take another look at the live events we have recently attended. We'll start with two more of our internal events at our headquarters in Oswestry, where we've welcomed our valued customers from across the industry. And then finally, we'll be taking a look back at Housing 2021, one of the biggest housing events of the year, hearing from our colleagues Holly Moore and Tina Mistry.
Today was the long-awaited VIP RSL opening event for our new head office here in Oswestry. But it's been great to get our key clients from the south up to date to be able to go both through all the new technology that we're bringing to the market and also a look at what we do within the communities, so via our corporate social responsibility scheme.
First of all, we had an introduction from our National Sales Manager, and then he basically just gave a brief overview of what Aico have been up to for the last 18 to 20 months. And then we broke into smaller groups and basically just done a bit of a tour of the office, and then looked at the new technologies that we're offering through HomeLINK and IoT solutions we've got available.
I did find the event useful in terms of, you know, the things that are coming along. I mean, I kind of had a rough idea about environmental sensors for the HomeLINK, but it was kind of, it's something that's coming and we hadn't really looked into it all that much. So I'm really excited about what that's going to offer for our residents as well as for us as an organisation.
It's a great opportunity to come up and actually see what all the technology is available that we can put into our customers to make our customers safer. I was under the impression it was just fire and smoke and carbon monoxide, but as the day progressed, you know, it was delved into what other products they do.
I have really enjoyed the day. I'd never been up here before to visit Aico, so I didn't know what you'd come from, but the building is beautiful. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Lots of information that I didn't know, but some stuff that just kind of refreshed what I did know. So I'm using the gateway units in Plymouth and they're going quite well, so it was, yeah, nice to see what's coming next.
Aico products are absolutely first class. You know, they're foolproof. They've had the same base that is interchangeable. So as technology improves, the base won't change, just the device head will. Fantastic.
What I've learned today is that, yeah, Aico do lots of amazing things in the community as well as provide outstanding smoke alarms.
My name's Holly, I'm a marketing executive at Aico and we're here today to showcase our products and also to meet our existing clients and also hopefully meet new clients. The highlight of the show for me is seeing the stand up in action after all the months of planning that's gone into it, and also to see all of our clients, old and new.
It's so nice to see everyone from the social housing sector. It's been so nice to see everyone that we work with. It's nice just to make sure that we're in tune with everybody and what we're trying to achieve in the social housing sector.
So the idea behind the stand is a house, obviously to show our products in situ, our home life safety devices, so our smoke and CO alarms, and as well our environmental sensors which can be placed around the home.
What we do is dedicated to helping residents and helping the sector to develop and to keep people safer in their homes. But the main thing is having that connection, and it's double checking in that what we're doing is supporting that sector to grow and giving them the tools, the information that we need to help to keep safer homes in the UK.
Today really has been all about how our products are evolving and also looking at the history of our products right the way along. We've also looked at the upselling side of the business, so how wholesalers can make the most out of every single sale, and also the technical side of things with the gateway and environmental sensors.
The demonstrations today have highlighted some of the things I was previously unaware of, some of the backup that Aico can offer to Freeline Electrical, and how that then could actually add to us selling more of their products in the future.
The products that we've seen so far today have demonstrated just how innovative Aico are being in being ahead of the curve for the changes that are going to be in regulations from next year. So that's really helped us because we're going to be fielding a lot of questions from our clients about what they should be installing. So it's great to be here today to learn that.
I've been in the industry 10 years selling Aico, and it's been nice to just see where you know, the hub of Aico really, and just see where it all ticks. What stuck out most today is the environmental sensors. Before today I didn't actually know about them, so it was good to get some knowledge on them. And also the mobile unit, learning about what Aico do with them. But they can come to the branch, bring it to the branch and show my customers. So that's great.
I think it's very important that we attend events like these, in that after the last couple of years we've had, there's been very little interaction between manufacturers and their distributors. So it's great to get those channels open again.
In the future, after what I've seen today, I think we can add even more business between our two companies. We already see Aico as a very important supplier to our business, but seeing some of the services and backup that they can now offer us and will be able to offer us in the future, we'll be able to take that to even greater levels.
So thank you to Holly and Tina for explaining how important events like this are to the housing sector. We really look forward to exhibiting at events again in 2022. And next up, we'll hear from Holly about our FAQ.
So we're going to finish the episode with an FAQ as always, but it is a brand new FAQ. We've had lots of feedback from end users about this topic, so we've created this brand new video, and it's about how to house code battery products.
What we are demonstrating today is how to house code RadioLink alarms. So the first thing to do is to make sure that all the bases are all on the ceiling. Once you've done all that, you can go to your first smoke alarm, which is the optical one, and press the house code button on the back. Once you press the house code button on the back, blue light comes on solid, and now you can twist that alarm onto your base. Once you see the sequence, you should see the blue LED light flash once every few seconds. This is now transmitting the RadioLink signal. Now you can get your heat alarm, and it's exactly the same procedure. You just press the house code button on the back, and as soon as that blue light comes on solid, take your finger off and now twist the alarm onto the base. So again, you can see the sequence now. You should be able to see two blue LED lights on both products. This system is now paired, so you can now press the test button and make sure they all sound.
So that brings us to the end of episode 24. We just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed or watched an episode of Aico TV this year. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed filming it, sorry. But if you want to keep up with Aico in the meantime, please follow us on social media on the following channels.
We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube and TikTok. And we hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And we'll see you for episode 25 in 2022. Goodbye.